And good evening, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Daily Casts. Let me know if you can hear me this evening. I've got a feeling we'll probably have some audio issues. I'm Ed. I hope you're all having a wonderful Sunday. I'm feeling a little bit more perky than yesterday. We have sound but echo. Sound but echo is not bueno. Give me 1 second. And how are we in terms of sound now? Is there echo? Tell you what, there isn't. Is that better? Excellent. Cool. Thanks everyone. Let me say hi. Lots better. Hurrah! That was the quickest I fixed audio. Spence. Man, you know, tricks of the trade. One day I'll get it right first time. So in case you didn't guess, there, I am joined by a very esteemed guest this evening. No, it's gone back to echo. Soz. Double echo. Excellent. Why would that be the case? Worse now. Good evening. It's okay. I kind of know how to fix this now. So. Oh no, it's okay. I'm not panicking this evening. It's not like yesterday. We will not have stress. What we'll do is we will switch to. Which way around for these guys? Oh, cool! Halloween special. Poor Ed. It's okay. I just got to. I don't hear anything now. We're going to go to default speakers. Save. Can everyone hear me? Am I echoey? On the plus side, it's a different thing from yes and yes. That's absolutely right. Yes and yes. And Spencer, can you hear me? No, I've lost Spencer. It's okay, we'll get you back, Spencer. Don't worry. Speaker headphones. Spencer.
Well, this is just fun.
Spencer. It sounds quite cool today. Spencer. Oh, why would that not work? Oh, maybe. Oh no! Don't panic, everyone. It's going to be okay. I'm sure it's going to be okay. Yeah. Now. Come on. It's okay. And Spencer, welcome back.
Why, thank you.
No, not quite there yet.
Thank you.
I've got you. Yeah. Cool.
You got me?
Yep.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh. I know why it was echoey. Spencer sounds fine. Do we have...
Well, thank you.
Ed?
That's really great.
Have we still got two Eds? Ed, you have a different audio issue each day. It's really funny. Thanks very much, James. James will be a guest on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to that. I know exactly what's happened. I left the listen through to myself on where I was testing at the start of the stream, as I've probably been doing every day. And I just clicked. That's what the problem's been. Very professional. Luckily, we don't have anyone important this evening. Spencer, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi everyone, I'm Spencer. I'm the media pipeline coordinator for Nisei. For the last couple weeks, that's been me madly editing every article that goes on behind the scenes. I see Ed talking in the stream. but now I can't hear Ed. So
You can hear me. You can hear me, can't you?
Okay, yes, now I can. Yeah, I've been madly editing all the articles behind the scenes. I'm also responsible for writing a lot of the content for the new website that's going to be going up in this month. We're kind of hashing out final details. And then if you were paying at all attention to the big old puzzle we did for the revealing the beginning of spoiler season, that was me. That was my slightly messy handiwork.
Yeah, well, we'll get onto that puzzle in a bit. I've been really looking forward to talking about that, actually. Just a few shout-outs in the chat. Good evening, too, from the top. Good evening, Jen. Good evening, Ginevra. Good evening, Ben, aka Cable Carnage. You'll see his name on the article today. Good evening, Weeble. Good evening, Goshi. Good evening, Ben. Good evening, Dis. Good evening, Spencer. Good evening.
Well,
good
thanks.
evening, James. I've done that one. And good evening, anyone who hasn't said hi already in the chat, but feel free to say hi if it's your first time on the stream. Welcome. So Spencer, you've got quite an interesting story of how you got into Nisei, haven't you?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, right when Nisei was getting, I guess it was around the time that Nisei's first set, Downfall, was coming out. I launched a series of sort of unsolicited critiques about the Nisei website and communication strategy. And there was a series of 4 articles, I think, that I published on Medium and my own blog, really focused on like how to critique constructively, because I didn't want to tear them down, but also I noticed some things that I wanted to point out. Nisei was very gracious. They listened to me and didn't, just tear my head off, which I would have understood, right? Like I was coming out of nowhere and just saying, hey, I've got some feedback. But they were really gracious. And after several months, there was a new position that opened up for the media pipeline coordinator. And I applied, and I've been on the team since January of 2020.
Sure. And how have you found it? Because you're a bit of a kitchen table netrunner player, aren't you?
I am. Yeah. No, I think I mentioned in Green Level Clearance the other day, I'm one of the most kitchen table-y on the Nisei team, I think. I have played outside of my apartment or a friend's apartment like once at a game store. So I love being part of the team, though. It's a fantastic team, and it's really cool to see all of the exciting work we're putting together. There's some really talented people on this team. In fact, sure. I think it's amazing. I mean, you're probably seeing it, Ed, with all the people you're interviewing these days.
Oh, man, of course. Yeah. I'm interviewing right from people that are new to the game all the way through to I might have a special guest on later in the stream. But from bottom to top and everywhere in between, which is a ton of fun. This in the chat saying, don't forget critiquing the content. Spencer made me cry. Is there a story there?
Dis, I'm sorry. No, I as an editor, I am sometimes a little ruthless, and especially before I was part of Nisei, where I was occasionally. I mean, in addition to my 4-part critique article that nobody asked for, I also occasionally went in on the comment section and said, hey, we could do this better. Remember, this was before I was actually part of Nisei. So I've learned a little bit about how to give constructive criticism. One of the big ones is making sure that it's solicited. But now I'm an editor, and I have the authority to just go in and redline all of Dis's stuff. I'm teasing this.
I mean, you say this is. I've been through your editorial processes as well, and I have to say, we've got one of my articles coming out tomorrow, which wasn't too bad, but the second article I wrote was a pile of words in some order, and actually the amount of work that you had to do on that first draft was quite embarrassing. But I'm very happy with it now. It was actually. And for me personally, going through the editorial process was really enjoyable. It's not something I've done before, maybe papers at university and stuff like that. But that aside, we're talking 15 years ago. it was really interesting going through that to and fro back and forth, and like, have you thought of this? Have you thought of what it's like to read this if you don't understand Netrunner in the same way that you do? And,
Right, and that was actually really rewarding, Ed, working on that one with you, because we could see the article grow. As an editor, I'm really I carry a red pen pretty heavily, but I'm also like, it's never personal for me. Like, I just want to help all my authors shine. I want what they're trying to say to be able to come through to the readers. And so I'm really happy with what we were able to pull together for yours, and I think people are going to really love it, both when they see the article in the next couple days and then near the end of the spoiler season.
Yeah, it's quite nice. I've got two. I'm really looking forward to it as well. Should we, speaking of tearing apart articles and putting a red pen through, should we look at Cable Carnage in the chat's article here? Let's dissect.
Sure.
No, let's jump onto the card then, Spencer. So, I'll do a little readout of today's card. So it's a Hasbro LHB ID, Precision Design, 4015. You get +1 maximum hand size. Whenever you score an agenda, you may add 1 card from Archives to HQ. Flavor text: not an atom misplaced. What's your takes on this card, Spencer?
Oh, good. We're asking the kitchen table guy what his takes on a card art.
Let's go.
Love it. Well, so one of the things that I to do a lot of, and it's gotten a little harder for me with the rise of COVID and all of the events being online. But I used to really love watching videos of championships and worlds and just events in general. But I do remember, especially when I was learning the game, how much at a point, I just got so tired of watching CI decks because like they all started to feel the same, and so everyone was playing them during a certain time. And this is me being a casual like kitchen table player who's just watching YouTube streams. And so my initial thought about when I saw this, you get +1 maximum hand size, was obviously this is not CI. This is not going to become, because there's a built-in limit. It is +1. But that immediately kind of evokes that similar space for me of like, okay, it's HB. HB is about putting these pieces together and having, like the article text talks about this, about having all this masterwork of design, these pieces. And I think having one extra card in your hand helps with that. It feels like a very neutral effect in a vacuum, but I think it plays very well into the HB theme and feeling. I think it feels very HB.
I think it drips HB. I think it does all of the HB things. Hello in the chat to Crit Hit D20, and hello to Swery Princess, hello to DNDDMDB, and thanks for the follow, RC, and thanks for the follow, Bobby Newmark. I think this is like the most HB you can get, right? You're manipulating your hand size, which suggests a draw. Whenever you score an agenda, you may have 1 card from Archives to HQ, so it's recursion. It's about tempo. It's like super HB. And a comment I saw today from a newer player, I think it might have been on Facebook, they said, as a new player, this really excites me because I understand how it works really quickly. I can look at this. I know exactly what I have to do with this as a new player. I want to score agendas, I want to get cards back that are good, and I want to use them again. And then there's that nice little combo element on top with the +1 hand size. A lot of people today saying this is broken and busted. Right? Does it worry you?
I am so I have no idea. I don't know if it's broken or busted. Because again, right, not my wheelhouse.
Sure.
But what I do think is and maybe speaking to what you were just saying about that new player experience, and again, I'm not design, I'm not development, so grain of salt here. But I think that there's a little bit of what I would say kind of I've seen described as lenticular design here, which is that when you score an agenda, you can add one card from archives to HQ. Anyone can see that there's good in that, right? Like that is a recursion, and if all you're recurring is I almost said sure gamble. If you're recurring a sure gamble, you're messed up somehow. If you're recurring a hedge fund, though, if all you're recurring is a hedge fund, you can still see the value in that, right? And I think any new player can see, okay, I used a good card, I want to get that good card back, awesome. But then the lenticular design is that as you're more experienced with the game, you start to see that this isn't just get generic good thing back. You can work it into a more combinatoric mechanism. And I think that's really cool from a design perspective.
Yeah. I think your take's absolutely right, that it appeals both to a new player, it's intuitive, all the way through to this could potentially be one of the best HB IDs we've seen recently, with HB having a history of great IDs. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Koga. Thanks for the follow, Sad Slug, as well. So going through the article, just a couple of things that have been pulled out here. So during playtesting, I made a deck. This is from Dan, not from me. I actually didn't really touch precision design because everyone else was testing it into the ground. Everyone thought it was going to be busted. I can say this openly. Everyone thought it was going to be busted, and it's good, right? But it's not busted. But everyone was trying to break it. So during playtesting, I made a deck that spent most of its influence on dedication ceremony and reconstruction contract. For cheap, fast advances, I also included red level clearance so I could score 4 advancement agendas from hand. MCA austerity policy, Jeeves model bioroids. I think a lot of the creative deck builders will be licking their lips at the moment at the thought of playing this and shifting Titan into HB, where you've got the tools, a lot of the tools there already. I think it's a ton of fun. You want to just talk about the art for a second? How have you found the art through this series? I mean, phenomenal is the only word I can use.
Oh, right. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. The amount of just incredible illustrations we've been getting for both Gateway and Update, I'm just loving it. One of the best parts of one of the things I look forward to most in the prior months was when Krembler would drop new art into our Slack because we hadn't seen it, and then it was just like, oh my god, look at this. So everyone was met with that same sort of wow response. I know we've been, I don't know if this has been mentioned before, I think we're slowly trying to move away from just like the previous style of, how to put it, like faction logos. And I think this shows why. Like, this is so much more, well, in my opinion, this is a really exciting piece. This is attention grabbing and means something in a way that just HB by itself might not.
Yes. Yeah.
Something.
You're very good at putting things into words. I quite know how to add things after you talk.
Sorry
good at constructing sentences and stuff. And while we're on your role, and this is a two-part question, did you have much to do with the fiction and editing the fiction as well, or was that a different wheelhouse?
I joined the fiction editing team pretty much this week, and was touching it a little bit before it hit the website when System Gateway started. So yes, and I'll keep from elaborating more so you can get to your second part of your question.
The second part of my question: if I wanted to write Wilder fanfic based on the story yesterday. which I talked about in depth, Full Moon, which has inspired me somewhat. I have been rather excited about Loop and his antics. Is that something I could run through you? Would you be interested? I will be writing under a pseudonym.
Real quick, just like what's the age rating on this fiction?
I would say it's well over X at a minimum. Yeah.
I think I need
in the chat, Zoe,
for the sake of
Sanjay.
I think for the sake of my own inbox, I need to say, please don't send me your unsolicited X-rated fiction.
I'll keep it to the 4chan Netrunner server then, shall I? Yeah.
Perfect. But I do think, on that wider note, if you or anyone are interested in the writing process, I know we have a writing Discord that we're occasionally opening to new people who are interested. I don't know the specifics of this, and I also just got appropriately called out by Dis for talking about things I'm not a total expert on, and so I would defer to our creative team on that. But this community, this project is what it is because of the community, and if we've taken community writers before, we've taken community writers for creative writing before, and we'd be happy to bring more on, I believe.
Yeah, and just on that point as well, actually, it's something I forgot to mention yesterday in all my stressiness. Good evening, fight Keith. This mentioned to me the other day. Actually, Loop's character, Rene Loop, was a suggestion for a community member that got sent in and said, I'd really like to see this character. And the character, I think it was like over 50% of the backstory and everything like that is Loop's backstory now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool. And I did forget to mention that, so apologies. But obviously sending in your designs and your ideas and your thoughts, it does work, because we've got one on paper here. Scottish Princess is asking, do we need an A&R unfiltered net added to our portfolio? Yes, please. Would be my request. I don't know what's come over me over the last couple of days. I was looking at wolf suits to go to Worlds in this year.
We have unleashed a whole new side of the community.
Mild-mannered English boy, and Patreon reward tiers $1 a month. You get heads unsolicited X-rated fiction, $2 a month. Optionally, you can opt out. That sounds perfect.
Classic fundraising structure.
Spencer, move me on. This is just going to get a theme through the next week or so. Dan, very nice article, by the way. What are you looking forward to over the next few weeks? What are you excited about, and what are you nervous about?
I am very excited. Every spoiler is exciting to me, because I've been, like all of the team, I've been carrying this sort of knowledge of like, oh, here's what's coming up, and been unable to talk about it with anybody for a year or more. And so every time that a new card goes up and I see the community talking about it, I am so excited and so happy that a little more of the secret is being revealed. I think in particular, there's some really cool discussion coming up on, I think it's the 10th and the 11th, and we've got design and development talking about some cards in Gateway. And I've always been a fan of the design and development articles, because they give a sort of look behind the scenes that, for me, I just always find fascinating. It's like, oh, this is what goes on in this whole like process.
I think that was really what inspired me to get into playtesting in April for Gateway, was reading the articles and saying, oh, that sounds interesting, I'd like to be a part of that. And,
Right.
It's difficult. It is difficult not being able to talk about it, and I understand why. You don't want it to be I know something you don't know. It's not an us and them. It's something
Right.
that I've signed up for and other people haven't. That's their choice and my choice. I get that.
Well, of course.
At the same
Of
time,
course.
it's so nice to be able to go, what do you think? It's really cool, isn't it?
Oh God, it is. It is like that. Just being able to share that, right? Like we're social creatures. We love sharing things, and to have it all sort of locked up and just it's like, it's that moment before the person opens their gift, feeling like, ooh, you're gonna love this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think another thing I'm looking forward to is being able to show off more of this art. One of the cool things that we did this time around is we especially with Gateway, we aimed to get the same illustrator to do all of a single faction's net space illustrations. And so you'll see that the same illustrator does all of the breakers for Anarch. And then a different illustrator will do all of the breakers and like virtual resources or whatever. Don't quote me on this. I don't know the specifics, but like any net space card for Shaper. All the way through all 7. So each faction has its own kind of cohesive feel there. I'm super excited about all of them. I think y'all are really going to love the Jinteki and Shaper. But honestly, they're all beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited for Shaper. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a Shaper player, and I haven't seen the Shaper art, but I know the cards, and I'm very excited.
Oh yeah,
and I think everyone else will be as well. People have
I
moaned for too
understand
long
that
Shaper doesn't get toys, and they're getting some.
Oh, Shaper's getting toys. Shaper's getting toys.
Shaper's getting toys.
I think the other. I'm keep going on this because I'm a blabbermouth.
Carry on, please.
But I'm also super excited for the new site. I know anybody who's followed me or sees what I say on GLC, green level clearance at all, is tired of hearing me talk about this, I'm sure. But we have a new site that is finally coming out this month. We're putting the final details on it. It is going to be so much easier to use, both as a reader and for us. And oh my God, it's beautiful. So this is like, that's going to, I think we're aiming for around Community Week, maybe a little before, maybe a little after, but definitely this month. And I think it's going to be a change. It's going to be such a welcome change.
And that's been in the pipeline for a while as well, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely
very exciting, but very welcome as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I want to find the article now, puzzles. Let's go. You're in my puzzle club, aren't you, Spencer? Yes.
Yes. The Enigma Puzzle Club.
That's right. Yeah. If you like puzzles and you enjoyed the puzzles, there's puzzles that Spencer and Serenity Reality Check wrote for the 10 days before Pantograph was finally revealed. You can join us on Slack #Enigma, and we solve puzzles just like that all the time. Amongst other things like playing Netrunner and streaming. Spencer, what was the thought process behind that puzzle? It was very cool, and actually the timing. Shout out to Enigma from Algebraic, who's also in Enigma, and good evening to Bahram Wee. Yes, sorry. What was the idea and thought process behind that puzzle?
Well, I have to stress from the beginning that this was a puzzle that was conceived of in about 12 hours. So, and it was my first time putting together a big puzzle like this. And so there were definitely some rough edges. I've learned so much about it, about the process of puzzle making by going through this. But when Serenity sent me in a Slack chat this idea of like just 10 days of increasingly decrypted images for Pantograph, that was originally the entirety of it. It was just we were going to really muck up these images and slightly demuck them each day until Pantograph was fully spoiled on day 1 of spoiler season. And I think that was that was a Friday or a Saturday. It was the start of my weekend, and I said, because I I have a tendency to make things more complicated than they need to be. I said, cool, what if we put a puzzle into it? I used to play an online browser-based RPG called Kingdom of Loathing, and one of the developers of that RPG frequently inserted big, complicated MIT Mystery Hunt style puzzles into the game. It was optional content, but the community really loved tearing it apart, and so I was never great at that, but I watched the discussion and I saw the sort of things that happened and the tools that were sometimes used. And so those all kind of sat in the back of my mind as ideas of what I could draw on. And so I sat down at the beginning of my weekend with like a couple hours, half a day before these tweets started going out, and just started drawing on those things to put together a little puzzle. And I figured it would give people something to chew on. Maybe a couple people would be interested in it, but I don't think I was anticipating it to be as all-consuming as it was in certain corners of the community for a while.
It was in certain community. Yes, over in the Green Level Clearance Discord, we were for about 10 days tearing it apart.
Yeah.
There's a point where you were playing Michael Jackson or Jackson 5 ABC for 4 hours in a row, and in the end you said,
yeah,
have you noticed what music I'm listening to? A lot.
Right, like and some of the very hacky things I did were to try to smooth over the experience from what was a very rough puzzle design in the beginning. That ideally I wouldn't have to do that, because ideally I would have made a better puzzle.
To be honest, you had to make a puzzle that lasted, say, 9 days. There's no point if everyone solves it within 10 minutes. There's not really much to it. Equally, it was better the way that you did it, where you could say, have you tried this? The next day something comes out and we get a hint from you, and that's another 6 hours of putting things in reverse. What was it like on your end? Like, how frustrated did you get? I mean, I was never actually really frustrated, because I do a lot of puzzle hunts and I'm not very good at them. Or I'm in a team of people that are better than me. So I've learned not to get frustrated if I can't do something, and I'll be able to watch other people do the bits that I find difficult, and then I like to think I've got a habit of jumping in at the end and going, oh, that's the answer, and everyone goes, yeah, we've done all the work on it, and you've got the answer. So kind of snatch that victory, like a poacher. I quite enjoy watching other people work on puzzles, and it's a nice group activity. And there were times, as you said, it's your first puzzle that you've written. I've not written a puzzle before at all, and I think we all enjoyed it. I don't think anyone felt bitter at the end or anything like that. And as Sway Princess says in the chat, the amount of ideas that we gave you from things that we were trying to do with the puzzle, I think you can probably stash them away and we'd have forgotten them by the time the next spoiler season comes around.
We have our own dedicated channel now for ARG planning. So
oh, do you really? That's very cool. Very nice. Very nice. Well, if you want to ever test them on us, you know where we are.
I think that's the big takeaway is test your puzzles. Don't try to put them together in 24 hours. I tease. I'm not nearly as down on it as I sound, but learning process.
I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything to be down on. It was a fun thing for people that were interested in it, and for those that weren't, it didn't affect them. So it's a no loss situation, really, isn't it? I enjoy it.
And I do think, for anyone who didn't follow it, I am planning to do some sort of post-mortem write-up on it. But the ultimate payoff was, I think, a list of 9 words, and the significance of those has yet to fully be revealed.
Yes, that's right.
I think.
Yes. No, I think you are right. Yeah. I think it might be interesting for people to go back, if they can, and have a look at those 9 words and see what's going on there. Anything else you'd like to talk about this evening, Spencer?
Oh gosh, I mean, I have a bad habit of babbling if left to my own devices. But no, I'm excited for where we're at. I mean, what would I like to talk about? All the cool stuff that's coming up in the next set, but I can't do that. So I'm really excited for Gateway. I'm excited for Gateway. We're actually, since system update, the list is going to be posted earlier than Gateway. We're just a little bit under a week out from update being fully spoiled, which will mean all the art's going to be shown. And guys, I'm stoked. This is a month where I get, I'm running around spending all of my free time on editing and website stuff right now, but I do it because I'm so stoked about what's going on.
No, of course. Yeah, it's an exciting time. And as you said, with the update being released towards the end of the week, I have even more exciting guests on throughout the week and towards the end of next week for everyone to look forward to, and through the rest of the season. Last little mention for those of you that are joining me for the first time, I'm running a competition. It is a creative design competition. I'd like you to send me something, as so many people have already, a surprising amount of people, a weird amount of people, some may say. Anything you like, be it a Morris dance inspired by HB Precision Design, or an ocarina song, or maybe you can carve carrots into a certain shape. Or maybe down the more normal streams, maybe a piece of art or a story or a poem. But hey, like, if you're feeling creative, don't let me stop you. I have had a Rubik's Cube solve. Send them to me. Prizes, as you know, we've got 3 playset of House of Knives for second runner-up. We've got a playset of Security Nexus All Arts for first runner-up. And we have a prize mat for first runner-up that my wife knocked a glass of champagne on. And it's been given a little wash.
Quick question about that competition, Ed. Can I send you my X-rated fan fiction about precision design?
Oh, please do. It saves me having to look it up. How do we send things to you? That's an excellent question. Why not? Send them to me. Good evening, Derjal. Thanks for joining. Send them to me in the Green Level Clearance Discord, which so many of you have been joining over the last couple of days. If you go into the Green Level Clearance Discord, you'll find me everywhere. I'm one of the admins there. Send me a DM. Don't post it. I'd like to do a small reveal stream at the end of the season. Tell me whatever you've got, whether it's a video or a picture or a story. All is appreciated, and it's just lovely to have that level of engagement from the community. And hopefully people are inspired by the great work that Nisei and the rest of the team are doing. Spence, thanks ever so much for joining me this evening. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely, Ed. Thanks for having me. Yeah, great to talk to you.
Good luck with the rest of the season, but you're smashing it out of the park so far, so congratulations on that. And everyone else.
Hope you all have fun.
Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you again same time tomorrow. Have a good evening, everyone.